Hello crafters and welcome back to the Scrapbook Pal YouTube channel. My name is Deepa from Designs by Dee and I'm so happy to be designing on the Scrapbook Pal team again. I had about a year off and now I'm back again, so I hope that I can share some great inspo with you guys and that you guys love the designs made and are inspired to make something yourself. So today we are creating this beautiful card made with a whole bunch of goodies from the Spellbinders Amaryllis Christmas collection. This one is by Yana. I love these collections and these are all the products we're using. I'm going to use all of them. So I've got the first one I showed you there was the Home for Christmas Sentiment set. It's a press plate set and it has coordinating dies. The second one is the Festive Poinsettias press plate and the coordinating stencils. It's just one full press plate with the stencils. Here we've got the Amaryllis Garden 3D embossing folder. These 3D embossing folders are amazing. And then finally we have the Yana's Amaryllis dies here. So you get basically a bouquet of the Amaryllis and then a little bud and a couple leaves with an outline die as well. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to do a whole bunch of techniques here, including die cutting, die cut inlay, stenciling, so I hope you're ready for some fun. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to line up some cotton paper. So this is the Spellbinders cotton panel, A2 sized. I'm going to put this in my better press. You can see mine is very loved. I've used it a lot. And I've got the plate out there. Now keep in mind, my panel, it's a bit smaller than the plate. The plate's a little bigger, so it's gonna actually imprint the whole thing. So when I put the tape on either corner on the platen, I always confuse the platen and the chase, but anyways, the white portion, acrylic portion there, the top bit, I make sure that the tape is not covering too much of the panel because that will not get pressed into. Then I put my plate down and I'm using some Pink Fresh ink. I have the larger pads, but ScrapbookPal has the small pads, which I've shown you they're available in the shop. I used the Blue Sky, which is a really light blue. Now I'm putting this through my die cutting machine and you can see how gorgeously that printed. So I'm sure you know by now. Oh, before I get into that, this is one of the older magnetic tools that's used on the glimmer machine. They have a newer one that's white and gold and stuff. That really comes in handy when you have large press plates and you want to take them off your better press machine, because I sometimes have trouble with that because they're so large, right? So that's one way to do that. Now we're going to move on to stenciling. I did want to mention, as I started saying before, that you can use any ink on those press plates. They have such a nice surface on it that any type of ink works with it. So don't think that you have to stick to the better press inks. So I went ahead and used the Pink Fresh Studio Sky Blue for the background. Now I've got the stencils. There are 6 stencils. You've got one for the pine cones and the centers of the poinsettias. You've got one for the detailed portion of the leaves. You've got one for the leaves. And then you've got 3 that do the different petals of the poinsettia. And if you look at them, you'll notice one of them, this one here, does the center, the very center. The next one is doing the leaves that are kind of in the middle between the center and the outer petals. The third one will do the outer petals. And then the next one's going to do the leaves and so on and so forth. So we're on the second layer of the poinsettia petals here. For the first layer, so the main center of the poinsettia, I use some Misty Coast. For this layer, I'm using some Slumber Blue, and as you can see, I've got a piece of cardstock on the side there, and I'm kind of rubbing off like a little bit of the ink, especially if I have a lot of ink on that blending brush, because I want it to have a really nice light feel to it. I don't want the color to be too extreme. I like to kind of keep the centers of the flowers a little darker and then kind of blend out to a lighter color. You'll notice that I'm varying my pressure with the different inks that I'm using because I want that different look. I don't want the inks to be so heavily on there that you can't see the outlines of the petals and stuff that we pressed into it with the better press plate with that lighter sky blue color. So that is part of the reason why I'm using a lighter hand. Now you'll notice that for this stencil, we've not only got the outer petals, which I did in Rocky Slope, but we also have the berries, which I did in Storm. So I used 2 different colors. If you find that maybe the openings of those stencils are too close together, use a Post-it to kind of block it off, or some washi tape or something like that. I just went ahead and just did it really carefully. I'm using an Altenew blending brush here. These are amazing. These are like the they're not the detailed ones, but they're not the large ones. They're like the in-between ones, and I find they really pick up ink very well. And I don't have to like rub too much to get the color into my background there, so it's really easy on your hands, which is what I like. So moving on, I am doing the detail portion, or like the vines and stuff, part of the leaves. Now, this is probably, besides the berries, the only layer that I'm going to make really heavy. And I'm doing this in Storm and Metropolis. The layer before that was the holly leaves that are behind the poinsettia. Those I did in Metropolis, and you'll notice I did it a little darker. So Metropolis is the second to last darkest color in that array of colors. And now I'm coming in with Metropolis again, very heavily at the base of those vines, and then Storm blending outwards, again, a bit heavier, heavy-handed with the ink this time, so that it kind of stands out a little more. So you'll notice the florals are a lot lighter than the leaves and the vines, and that was mainly so that I could keep that detail that pressed through the better press plate. Same thing with the pine cones. You'll notice there's a lot of detail there with the sky blue that we pressed the press plate with, so I'm only using a little bit of warm buff just to give it like a little bit of a brownish tinge. And you'll see that variation here creates a lot of interest. So keep that in mind when inking up your backgrounds for that nice light colored background look, because I didn't want it to take center stage too much. Moving on, I've got some blue cardstock here, and I am embossing it with the 3D embossing folder, the Amaryllis Garden folder. You'll see I have the universal plates here, which work. They do make a difference in your when you're embossing your folders. You'll notice you need plate A, and then I think you just do the folder and then adapter D. And then you can see that is absolutely gorgeous on its own. It would really just make a perfect background by itself. Now, I did want to highlight all of that 3D-ness going on there. So I'm grabbing some of the Calico White ink, which is more of a pigment ink from the Pink Fresh line, and I'm just kind of rubbing it across the top there. It basically brings out all of the embossed areas that are sticking out, and it gives you more of a foreground and a background, so it kind of just makes the image pop a little more. Not that you need to, because there's a lot of dimension as there is. So moving on, I'll put that aside. I'm going to go on to the Amaryllis die. Now you can see there is an outline die and then the main die. I've cut the main die out of some silver cardstock, and now I've cut it out of some white cardstock, and I'm keeping everything intact in the die. I'm grabbing some press and seal here, which is perfect for die cut inlay techniques. I'm sticking it to all of those little die cut pieces on the back, and then I'm pushing it out with my Pink Fresh stylus tool here. So you can see I've got everything intact. Everything from that die, it's cut, but it's intact on the press and seal. And you can see I'm going to end up, inlaying it like that with the metallic cardstock over top. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add some ink to this. You could color it in with Copics if you wanted, but because we did a lot of ink blending and, there's a lot going on this card, I just wanted to keep this simple. So I'm grabbing 2 colors of ink. I've got Sky Blue, which is the color we did on the background press plate. And then I've also got Slumber, and I'm using the Sky Blue, which is the lighter of the 2 colors, to just kind of fill in most of the color on those petals. And then I'm coming in with the Slumber, and I'm darkening up where the petals meet, like the center of the flower. And you'll notice there's a couple sections, so I'm using that cardstock to kind of block off the petals from the last section and the petals from the new section, so I can darken like the bottom of those petals without kind of going over the ends of the other petals. It'll make sense when you actually look at how the petals are on this flower. But that's just a simple way of adding color and a little bit of depth to it with 2 different colors of ink without having to do too much in terms of coloring. Now that I'm done with that, I'll pull that off of my Altenew mat there. It's my Altenew sticky mat. I just found that helped hold the whole thing in place a little easier while I ink blended it. Now I've also cut out, using that outline die, the Amaryllis bunch in out of some vellum there. So it's just plain vellum, And now I'm adding some glue. I'm using some Barely Arts glue here. I'm adding it to that silver cardstock outline, and I'm just going to attach it here with a nice outline on the outer edge there with the vellum. And then I'm going to do my die cut inlay technique. So I'm very aware that there are tons of different ways that you can do this. This is the way that I find works the best. Now you see this first petal I'm inlaying. I would recommend doing this one first every time you do this technique with this amaryllis, because you see those stamen that are sticking out there, the center of the flower. Sometimes they tend to move, and before it sticks down fully, you want to make sure that you can inlay that petal so that the stamen go in the right direction. And yeah, the reason for doing that first is I've already kind of stuck down the outline, and I don't want it to adhere too strongly before I attach that petal inlay, because it can be a little bit wonky. But then after you do that, the rest of them, you can kind of place them down as you'd like. And I like doing this because I don't have like a whole bunch of die cuts where I have to piece together a puzzle. I mean, if you like doing that, go ahead and do that. If you find that that's relaxing. I know that certain techniques are more relaxing than others, but this way it was easy for me to find what goes where and put it in very quickly. So now I've kind of just cut off that little stem at the bottom there. I just want to use the bunch of the flower without the stem. And I'll put that aside too. Moving on, I'll create my next element, which is the sentiment. So I've just got some plain cardstock here. I've attached it to the center of my platen. I hope I'm saying these words right. That's the platen and the chase is the metallic part. I'll probably look that up later and I'll find out it's the opposite, but you know what I mean. So I'm taking one of the sentiments from the Home for Christmas sentiment set there, sending you Christmas cheer. I've just used some plain old Better Press black ink there to press that one out. And then I've got the coordinating die here, which I can kind of just line up and cut this out and give it a nice finished, gorgeous look. I really love the font on this one. I love how it's so nice and scripty, minus the typed font. I think is really pretty. All of those sentiments are gorgeous. Probably would be great to kind of just cut them all out in one go and keep them for cards as I'm creating Christmas cards this year. So moving on, let's start assembling. So I've cut down that amaryllis that was embossed with the 3D embossing folder down to strip. I can keep the other half for another project. I've also cut down that stenciled background, and I cut 1/4 of an inch off of the top and the side. So that's going to give us a nice 1/8 of an inch border around all of the edges. Now I've attached the amaryllis 3D embossed portion. It's just like a nice panel there on the left side. And I've got this silver twine here. If you don't have silver twine or whatever colored twine that goes with whatever color scheme you're using for your card, no worries, you don't have to use it. If you still want to have that piece of silver peeking out from behind, you can just use some silver cardstock. That works well, and you probably already have it if you did the die cut portion. So all you do is just kind of leave a little bit of a strip behind the amaryllis embossed section, and you can put that on there. But I thought I wanted to add like a little bit of texture, so I've got this silver twine. I added a strip of the 1/8 of an inch strong double-sided adhesive here on either side of that embossed panel, and I'm adding 2 strings of twine, which seems to cover that up. And because this is strong double-sided adhesive, it holds that string very well. That's not going anywhere. And if you want to really make sure, turn the panel over. Be careful because you have embossing, but just burnish that in a little bit. And then I'm just going to cut off the overhanging bits, and I've got a nice sparkly edge there, which I think looks really nice. Now, everything that I'm using for this card, minus the twine, is linked in the description below. As I mentioned, you don't have to use a twine. You can use cardstock instead. Or you can use any other twine you have on hand. And I'm using the 3D foam squares here. I love these foam squares, especially this variety pack. It comes with like larger squares and smaller squares. It works perfectly when you're sticking die cuts down and you want that extra dimension. If you don't want the dimension, just use some glue. But keep in mind, if you are using the twine, you're going to have a little bit of dimension there already. So you will kind of have to lift this piece up a little bit. Otherwise, it's going to have a weird bump in it. So I've gone ahead and I've added that amaryllis sponge there. And now I'm just going to add the sentiment over top. And you can see how easily, once you make all the different pieces, the background, the 3D panel, 3D embossed panel, the amaryllis and the sentiment, it all just kind of comes together nicely. I really wanted to use all of the products from this release because I think they're gorgeous. And I think even though you have Poinsettias and Amaryllis, they all go together very well. You're not even going to notice that you got an Amaryllis on a poinsettia unless you're very detailed, right? It looks very pretty. So I'm grabbing some of this. I think this is a Starry Sky mix. It's the two-tone glitter drops from Pink Fresh Studio. I thought that the blue just went really well, and then it also had a bit of silver in it, which captured the two colors in this card. In this mix, you'll notice there's like more of a vibrant blue, and then there's more of like a darker blue. I tried to pick the ones that were the darker blue just to create a bit of contrast because we've got some vibrance in the background anyways. And that's pretty much my card for today. So if you haven't already, don't forget to like and subscribe to the ScrapbookPal YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell to be notified of future videos. And I hope to see you guys next time. As I mentioned, everything used here is linked in the description below, and I hope you'll check that out in the shop. Have a great day, guys, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.